Hello, and welcome to Birdeye Live, the show that's dedicated to the digital transformation of local businesses everywhere. Join me, Justin Meredith, your host and digital marketing evangelist at Birdeye, as we learn from industry experts about the how and the why for taking your business online and claiming the most valuable real estate on the internet, the first page of Google. So today, I'm very fortunate to have SEO expert and founder of Garit Boothe Digital, Garit Boothe. Garit, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great and glad to be with you, Justin. And I have to say, that in that little intro section we had, that stock music, elevator music was having me jamming. So I'm ready to be here.
Oh yeah, I'm excited. We didn't even have that music for the first time around, and after watching the recording, I was like, we definitely need to have some sort of music to get the energy going.
Oh yeah.
So awesome. So you and I are going to be talking again on this Thursday at 12 o'clock Central Time or 1 o'clock Eastern to really dive into how local businesses can increase their revenue through SEO. And in order to register for that, you can find the link in the comments. This is going to be jam packed with just full of great insights from Garit, and we're going to help you rank higher on Google and bring in more customers. So, Garit, let's talk a little bit about that and, try to figure out exactly what we're going to be talking about. And so, the first question I have for you is when people think of SEO, revenue might not be the very first thing that comes to mind. Most people think of ranking, keywords, things like that. So, what is the relationship between SEO and revenue?
Yeah. The reason I want to talk about revenue, Justin, is that there's a lot of SEO agencies out there that don't do a very good job for their clients, particularly for small business clients. This is a problem in the industry, and even in a lot of cases where you maybe get some traffic, maybe you're not getting customers. If you're not selling, if you're not getting customers, you're not making revenue. And at the end of the day, SEO is marketing. And so where does the rubber meet the road? That's where I want to focus on. I come from a family of small business owners. I'm a small business owner. I've worked in big companies. I've done work for enterprise companies. I own my own websites that are revenue generating. I have clients, of course. My main business is my client business where I help small sites and big sites get more revenue. And so I know what it takes to start with nothing and build it up. And it's not just a question of appearing for number one on Google for the keywords that are in your industry, but it's a question of getting those people to engage with you, to opt into your email list, to fill out your contact form, to call you, and ultimately become your customer.
Definitely. And during our dry run, that's something that got me really excited is because with a lot of the webinars that we've done in the past, everything has been so focused on, okay, once you're on like Google, let's talk about the first half. But we really haven't really talked about like, okay, let's say you get someone to your website. How do you convert them into a customer to actually bring in revenue and using SEO to do that? So when we were talking about that in our dry run, that got me really excited because that's something that we haven't covered before. So in terms of just SEO in general, what are some maybe newer developments or a trend or an updated feature or anything like that that's maybe gotten you excited or something that you think could really impact, local businesses and helping them rank better and bring in more customers?
So here's something that's interesting. Over the past 10 years, we've seen people adopting the usage of mobile phones more and more. People are always glued to their phones, right? We're a society that's addicted to our phones. It used to be young people, now it's all age groups. And so, how that's reflected with internet marketing is you'll see a larger percentage of, if you're a consumer facing business, you're going to see anywhere from 67, 2/3 of your website traffic to 75% of your website traffic, maybe even sometimes I've seen 80% people on their phones. So that's something that you need to tailor your website for. But it gets more interesting because another trend that we're seeing in Google that is actually more recent than just the past 10 years is people actually are looking to Google for answers. We call this the rise of the no-click search. So within the past 6 years, every single year we see more searches happening where people engage, do a search, they don't click on anything. So they're using Google as an answer engine, but they're also using it to get information. So one of the things that we're going to cover in our webinar is how do you flesh out your Google My Business profile to be in a way that helps you get customers. We're going to talk about reviews. We're going to talk about the photos and what builds trust with users. But what's really interesting is, say you're a tire shop and somebody looks up tire shops near me. Probably A, they're going to be doing it on their phone, so you need to be mindful of that. But B, if you scroll down the search results, you're going to see the map, what we call the map pack in SEO, the map results, and then you're going to see like 3 listings, and usually that'll come up first if you're a small business.
Mm.
So you'll have the ads, and then you'll have the map pack listings, and if you pay close attention to those options, there's a phone call option and a website click option and a visit option. They might call you right there without ever visiting your site, straight off of Google, or just drive into your location without ever visiting your site. So
Mhm.
it's important to be mindful that Google is now a platform where people are engaging with it without even clicking through to your site, and that should affect how you're engaging your SEO campaign.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, and I know that from personal experience. The amount of I did that yesterday. I went to Best Buy and I never even went to the Best Buy website. I just assumed they had the product I needed, and I was looking on the maps. I was like, okay, there's the hours. That's how I get there. I'm going. And I was able to go to Best Buy and make a purchase without even going to the website. And so that's definitely something that I think I've seen a lot more of in general of people,
Excuse
oh, bless you, using Google as just a platform in that sense. Um,
me. Excuse me.
so all good. So those of you who are just now joining, be sure to click the link in the comments and register for Garrett and I's webinar this Thursday at 12 p.m. 7 tips for increasing revenue through SEO. Now, we're not going to disclose any of the tips we're covering, but Garrett, do you have any tips or advice for those tuning into the live stream that they can implement to increase revenue through SEO?
Yeah, absolutely. So, my first tip is very similar to what I was saying before. Make sure that your site is mobile friendly. Even if you're a site that sells to businesses, you're looking at anywhere from 25 to 40% of your traffic of people still coming to your website on mobile. And again, consumer facing sites, that's anywhere from 2/3 to 75%. And this is based on analytics from many, many websites that I've been on. So make sure that your website is mobile friendly. This is a Google ranking factor. But in addition to that, when somebody gets on your empathize, put yourself in the thought of a user, somebody of a potential customer. Somebody's getting on your website. What are they doing? Um, you know, how are they landing there? Are they coming into your homepage? Are they coming in on a blog article? Are they coming on a solutions or service page or a product page? If you have a lot of website mobile traffic, here's a quick tip: throw a click to call button on your website. Click to call. Um, that that can double the amount of phone calls you're getting right away.
Wow. Yeah, I mean that totally makes sense. I've called countless restaurants straight from Google using the call button because I don't want to have to go to the website and search for it and try to navigate through it.
Mhm.
And so one of the things that's also making me really excited for this webinar is as we were going through our dry run, I think nearly all of these tips are things that business owners and brand managers and marketing managers can implement fairly easily, fairly quickly. It doesn't require a an SEO technician of 10 years with experience in coding and crazy stuff like that. It's very actionable tips and things that could really help people rank better and bring in more customers. So, one of the things that we'll be talking about a little bit in the webinar, but I think it's important to cover here is a good way to learn is from your mistakes. So, what are some of the mistakes that maybe you've seen clients coming in to your business, to Garit Boothe Digital, maybe that they think that they're doing something correctly regarding SEO, but it turns out they're hurting them? Or, what's something like a misconception that you might have seen when it comes to SEO that maybe people are doing wrong?
Yeah. So here's a question that I get a lot. People always ask me, does it matter how often I publish on my website to Google? In other words, if I'm blogging or if I'm writing, how often do I have to publish? And the answer is it doesn't matter. So I would emphasize for quality over quantity. And I want to preface what I'm saying here with action always beats inaction. So when it comes to a lot of small businesses, I think the biggest mistake is they don't do SEO. So if you're already doing SEO, right, first off, start getting some content on your website if you don't have anything. Number one. Number two, if you're already doing that, target keywords with your content. One keyword per page is generally how you want to do that, which requires some keyword research. So on a blog, you're going to talk about the things that are related. And I'll throw out some interesting tips that a lot of businesses don't do, but you'll actually get people that will buy from you if you follow this. So there's maybe 5 or 6 different keyword patterns where people will type these things in, doesn't matter what the industry in, and these indicate that they're shopping. One is talk about pros and cons of particular products and services. People will literally Google, let's say you're a flower shop, pros and cons of roses, disadvantages and advantages. Another thing is versus. People like to compare brands. Michelin tires versus I don't even know, different tire brands, different computer brands, different product brands. So we've got pros and cons versus, here's another one, product reviews. You could review different products and services. So people will type in, iPhone 10 reviews. And they do this for all sorts of things, for softwares, for physical products, stuff you see in the store, t-shirts even. So reviews versus best comparison articles, pros and cons, great buyer keywords to do on your blog.
Yeah. And, that makes me think that that's something that, whenever you're doing SEO and you're thinking of these buyer keywords, is to put yourself in the shoes of the consumer. How would a customer search to find you? What, in any kind of way? I mean, with the versus thing, it's funny. I'm going back to yesterday when I went to Best Buy. The first thing I Googled was, I was looking for a new set of headphones, and I was like, this brand of headphones versus this brand. And I compared the pros and the cons between the two, and I picked one, and then I searched for Best Buy, went and got it. And that was my whole buyer journey in about an hour yesterday. And I think that's something that's important to remember whenever you're doing this, is just to put yourself in the shoes of the consumer and think about how would they search it without knowledge of who your business is too. So if you're Goodyear, you don't want to search Goodyear tires. You want to search tire shop near me, or, easy tire shop, or fast. So that's definitely something that I think that, we're definitely going to cover this more into the webinar in depth. So before we go, do you have any last thoughts, any last pieces of advice, or something that you'd like to add in before we jump off here?
Yeah, I would say the best thing that you can do in SEO, if you want to start getting results right now, is get started. If you've hired an SEO agency, implement what they're telling you to do. If you haven't, start putting up content. I'd say that's the base level.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you already have some content on your website, maybe you've gotten a little press on other websites have linked back to yours, which also helps with SEO. Mm-hmm. That makes your website that much stronger and easier. And if you have a stronger website, if you then go and hire an SEO person, or you start implementing maybe some things that you weren't implementing before, you'll have more success. So get started today. There's a snowball momentum effect, and when you get started today, you get results tomorrow.
Amazing. Awesome. Well, that's it for today's episode of Birdeye Live. Thank you so much, Garit, for joining us. I'm excited to talk to you on Thursday. Also, be sure to register. Click the link in the comments, fill out your information. You'll get an email that'll save you to your calendar. Thursday, 12 o'clock Central Time. Garit and I will be sitting down for an hour to really dive into this stuff. We'll also save time for Q&A, so you'll be able to ask an SEO expert your questions. So maybe there's a challenge that you're trying to overcome. This is your chance to talk to somebody who really, really knows their stuff. So thank you very much, Garit, and we'll talk to everybody on Thursday.
Thanks, guys. See you soon.